As you might know from my channel, I've been working really hard on the Kusarigama, not wanting to rush to any conclusions, but I felt like the chain that it came with was too heavy, too thick. Well, having put in, countless hours with this chain that we're looking at right here, I am ready to conclude that, yeah, it needs a change. And part of being confident in that opinion, because there's so little reliable information about the Kusarigama, is that I have a buddy who studied Koryu for many years, and it included the Kusarigama in its repertoire. He agrees, so it's great to have that confirmation. We've been training regularly, too. So definitely taking my training to the next level. This chain is not ideal, my friend and I agree, but it is an upgrade. I stuck to the exact same length, and the links are bigger. They're kind of flat in a way, like flatter, if you will. So they're bigger, but they're thinner, the metal on them. See, this is almost like a rope. Much shorter and thicker links. And you would think that would make sense. Like, yeah, I do want it to feel like a rope, but you don't. This chain, with the weight and the shape, it's more for like gross motor skills instead of fine-tuned ones. The flattened links let you pinch the chain when you want to between like your thumb and your forefinger. And yes, I'm sticking to the same length. I had to find a new weight, so I want something a little bit more historically accurate, but this serves the purpose for now. Physics, doesn't care that it happens to be a padlock. It's the right size and weight. Also, it's handy for switching out once it gets beat up enough. And boy, good thing with remote work, people don't really care what you wear, because I can jump out in a break in between meetings and take some footage like this, and what you're going to see later in the video. Anyway, what I want to focus on in this video is stance. The fights between Lyoto Machida and Shogun in the UFC years ago gave us this great visual of Machida on the left with his classic karate stance and strategy of basically facing your opponent sideways. Not literally, although some people in point sparring actually fight that way, but practically. And then Shogun in his Muay Thai stance, that being a form of kickboxing, and like all boxing-related arts, you can be more squared up. Like he was there, look at Muhammad Ali here on the left, actually look at both men. That's George Foreman, this is the Rumble in the Jungle, two all-time greats, and notice how they present each other with their torsos facing each other, for the most part. And same thing here, especially the picture on the left. Look at those two guys, they are just really, really squared up as they prepare to engage. I had a martial arts instructor say once, you're either on the train tracks or the tightrope. So like these guys are on the train tracks. But the kind of classic karate sideways stance, which we're seeing from the man on the right, classic old school full contact karate stance and strike, that's the tightrope. But realistically, styles incorporate both. They have to. So here's two other all-time great boxers, and they're really sideways. That's not what you think of when you think of boxing, is it? Being sideways presents your opponent with a lot less target area, but it limits your offensive capability. You're hiding a bunch of your body, which means you can't easily use those parts of your body to attack. Now, we're here to talk about weapons, so let's see how it plays out there. Same dynamic overall, but the thing with weapons is the stakes are much higher. You're not talking about catching a punch or a kick that you'll probably survive. You might be catching a thrust with a sword. This is a safe example here, of course. This is from the recent Olympics, but it's recreating what we're talking about. One mistake and you could be a dead man. Look at the man on the left in this next image. He went for it, missed by just inches, and it might cost him his life because he's taking a thrust to the chest. So with weapons, there's increased value in presenting less of yourself to the opponent. And now let's get back to our weapon, because in the old days, if you were fighting with a Kusarigama, you were likely going against a katana, as recreated here on the Monkey Fist channel. So if you're fighting a guy with a razor-sharp longsword, you really want to minimize your exposure, but there's an additional reason. As I shown previously, you can hit yourself with your weapon much more easily than with typical weapons. So the increased stakes that weapons bring into play, it's a double danger for you when you're using this, because you have to worry about getting hit by their weapon and yours. Anyway, that is a hurdle to overcome if you're going to train with this weapon, even if you think you're going to be able to do that pretty naturally. The karate stance is narrow. I'm a karate guy, and I keep slipping up on that at times, going to the train tracks. I've been training with my friend that I mentioned earlier, and he has to catch me on this a lot and remind me, no, your stance has gotten too wide. And so that is an important bit of nuance with this weapon. Of course, there are times in a fight you would want to square up, get on the train tracks with this weapon, especially to bring the Kama to bear, offensively or defensively. But you have to be more precise and deliberate about that with this weapon than, I think, with any other, at least any other I can think of. So here's me trying to not present too much and cast out the weight. And I guess that's it for this time. Thanks.